All right. We are live. Thank you for those who have just joined the conversation. So, welcome to the U Turn. If you are a new person here, this is a platform that is empowering our communities through women and youth. The U Turn leverages storytelling, constructive dialogue, and guided actions to promote social change, economic empowerment for youth and women, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So my name is Rhoda Akwal Philip Nairan Kuchen, and I'm joined by my co-host Alakir Deng, all the way from Vancouver, plus a special guest from Melbourne, Australia, Henry Makuen Khor. Yay! So please, before I give the floor to our special guest to introduce himself and the topic, I just want to let you know that we appreciate you sharing this conversation to reach those people who may benefit from it. Our topic today is very crucial, especially to those who are in diaspora. So the topic is on youth and the future of youth in diaspora. And diaspora can be West, can be East Africa, can be all across the world that is not in South Sudan. So this message is really important. It's empowering our youth. So thank you for sharing in advance. That is how you support our conversation. We're really appreciative of your time and your efforts. So back to the table, Mr. Henry. Thank you so much for joining us to come and educate us on this very important topic. So please, I know we know you here on the table, but many of our audience may not know you. This could be the first time seeing your face. And so could you please start by telling us about yourself? Who are you? And what actually inspired you to be in this journey, empowering our youth in diaspora?
Well, thank you, Akwal and Alakir and the entire youth and crew that have uh, dedicated their time and come up with this novel initiative to engage the community and support and become the voice of voiceless. I want to say a big thank you for having this initiative running and delivering to community. Second, I want to say thank you for inviting me to be part of your journey. Don't know how much I can add to your initiative, but I will do my best. As you have seen on the screen, my name is Henry Makuen Khor, and I came from Jonglei State, and South Sudanese, of course, for those who don't know where Jonglei State is. I live in Australia and a family man. God has blessed me with five kids and with my beautiful wife, Rebecca Cholkwal. Some people may know her. I came to Australia in 2007 and went to school. I studied a couple of degrees, and my first degree was Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in accounting, and the second was Master of Business, specialized in applied finance. And it was difficult to get a professional job, and I was working in warehouse as a store store person. So, and I was worried about my future. Should I end up working in warehouse for the rest of my life? And not because warehouse is not good, it's bad, but there's something you like that you need to do. And I happen to find it difficult to get a professional job in Australia. So I went back to school and did international development studies as a postgraduate, wanting to go back to South Sudan and work with NGOs. Before completing my studies, I got a job with Australian government, uh, Australian Taxation Office for a 1 year contract, and then I moved to the bank. Currently, I'm working as a banker for the last 6 years. What I do outside my work for living, uh, I'm a church leader, and before then, I grew in the church And I remember when I was young, we used to be trained to be better leaders of tomorrow, whether in the church or in the community. And that training and that vision kept me thinking about, now I have been brought to this stage. What can I pass on to people who come behind me? And that what made me to be pursuing and supporting youth empowerment. I remember I went to Ethiopia in 1988 as Jesh Amer and put up in Panyunduk and then went to Itang. And all along, I did not live with my parents. I was raised and brought up by relatives and people from different authorities. And that vision itself, and I can quote from General Piang Deng when he was 26 years old and looking after Jesh Amer in Panyundu, 26,000 or 27,000 youth, young people. And I question myself, now I am in my 40s and I cannot support my young people. When Piang Deng look after 27 boys in Panyundu, who am I? And that challenged me to say, this is a time to look after young people who are coming behind us, to empower them, to see what are the challenges facing them, and to address them and provide a solution to them. And that's why you find me as an advocate. On the other hand, I also think about South Sudan. I was raised in the war. I know how people suffered in the war. And now we have our country. Is that it all, or do we need to do more to keep our country going? And I saw a lot of gaps in South Sudan. We got the country, we are free from oppression from our brothers in the north, but are we free economically? So, and I said economic freedom is the next stage of fighting against poverty is the next liberation struggle we need to do as South Sudanese, whether in diaspora or whether in South Sudan. And this prompted me to form my own initiative that is called South Sudan Economic Freedom Advocacy. So I am an economic freedom advocate, peace and development advocate. I do them while sitting here in Australia. I don't go on the ground, but I put in great ideas on my social media forum. I've got my website where I write policy report articles and publish them and make sure people read them and learn from them. And that's all about me. And I want to thank my wife for giving me this space. Saturday today is my time with boys. I take them for soccer practice training. And now she took that responsibility with her and allow me to be with this great initiative. So I thank her wherever she is. I'm sure a responsibility for young people, and this is will be center of our discussion to today. Our responsibility for young people start from the house, from parents. And thank you.
Our responsibility start at home in the house. And that is really a key word. And thank you so much. And I also want to thank your wife and my former classmate in Kakuma Raja Primary School, Rebecca Cholkwal. God bless her. She continued to empower young people and being a great mother and a community contributor. So I'm proud of her. She was my role model, very smart girl. I used to be number one of the girls. So yeah, and thank you for sharing your story and bio. It's really, really empowering to see how you have gone through all this and now you are in a position to give back. And many of our audience here, please share this conversation. It is on the youth and the future of youth in diaspora. So I wanted to bring it back to the topic of discussion today. So there are many ways to empower our youth, but focusing on youth behaviors and police involvement, especially in Western countries. You have seen it in Australia. It's happening here in Canada. It's happening in US. It's also happening abroad, where youth are, behaving in a way that doesn't go well with law enforcement, and they are getting in trouble. And for them to be empowered economically and socially, they need to be on the right side of the law. So can you share a bit about your experience with these specific youth and police involvement in Australia, and what have you seen? Are there some cultural nuances that are, changing of cultures and an environment that is impacting our young people, and what can be done based on your experience?
Thank you. Since I came to Australia, the first thing I noticed was, and I will answer from my own experience. When we first came to Australia, it was difficult. It was difficult to integrate into Australian society. Number one, the language itself. I came to Australia when I already graduated from high school and thought I know English, I could speak better than anyone else. But when I arrived in Australia and tried to listen to Australian accents and how they speak, I was totally out of business. I could not listen. And that was the first challenge I faced. And I could not communicate. I could not explain myself. And I could not even listen to Australian accent. And that one, that that gap was the first problem we face as migrants. Not only myself, I believe. And now that translates into how the cultural differences significantly shape the behavior and interactions of migrants with Australian society and law enforcement in particular. And these differences created a unique challenges and opportunities also, especially in multicultural societies like uh, Australia. What I look at, and but will briefly thong giang you know and koi be ping it and kicha ben wo to talk cultures for thing could the culture pan Australia ben was totally different. And koi had more elderly and young people. People like us were trying to navigate through how to by going to universities and study, going to colleges and English classes. But young people and and uh, and elderly achi kadang ka ben head achi culture ka ben head young people achi ben kuleki into two cultures. One, our own culture, and now the wider society culture. Kuwar pan jing or war kakuma mendo ayelwe a lot of schoolage. That is a sole responsibility. The second responsibility every chambukwet. Ajimendo chukwet and you send him to school, that's enough. But by then it is not. It's different. For wochi culture achuo ben chato in a limbo, if you like, can can a system to buy it. And now I will give you one example. When we watch a Girarabat, we don't have license. Resumes why that do I could leave. So we but well tong jeng what you ben up it and nakumat and whatever supermarkets on to Nairobi and team. And you can lawyer for you to fit in. Otherwise, I think they're paying being experience like you. Okay. What you are getting into that, but I like you lawyer that ran regardless of resume the so we have to be retrained. We just pick up from there. Canting. The same thing at meet young people ben chill by it because book two things. A core book mu dani wo kemu kuka non kai kala ping school age kujilata beneka motin kind of thing. So yenike teaching our cultural differences ben, and if I put it in English term, anong cultural ben loy after china our characters yenike study all, including okay girl without license. So quite anong a very very good way of understanding ranabo kai. Okay, ranabu learner's license, kulori charge, and police will pull you out. Yung yin get kitchen license, you have to have a full license. And our answer was, oh, where can we start getting a full license if we don't drive on the road, which is against the law? So what you go long go a long range. But coach and Ben understand uh a chick ben long ke memda, okay? Kachu ben are fine, but a came ben tau into a big problem, but a chu tau into quotation that these people I long are you don't cause this translate into a mid and kana achi perception from authorities ke to bite ne achi ben boost that we call long ayuke don't cause, and this is because of background influence. Migrant youth often came from countries with varying levels of trust in law enforcement. Okay, we used to lie. My own mother was a police officer before Keniko your way. Okay, leave alone Warjan SPLM Ben.
Yeah.
And and when I see her wearing police uniform coming from work, okay, I would love to see her always wearing that uniform. There was that level of trust. But there was another enemy mother, you police, it created stereotype in one there. So
Yeah.
you the police when your relatives could get someone else. And etong etong mit ko achi ben loan into that bullying in school, discrimination in school man chol bi yole name do is short. Okay, like a piece of quite very aggressive in terms of responding to you come to their territory you come to your face don't do that to me. Etong mit ka wajara ka lemu, they can say anything kind of thing. Wachira akala will and they go. But the
Fortune Bunia.
and they don't take it. And they, so mi ko luki react. Etong kichi wai ke kalum ke mi right. That perception kick in from authorities. Gule mi ke I aggressive I can alloy. It will affect affected with the performance in school. Aguchi behavior skin wise. A cake. A cake. A cake affected. So Tongan, I believe there was oppressive uh, policy that harbors distrust or fear by authorities figures whether you're from school or police. Achemit ko achike yen that fear I read, and I think ran boko mo authority kalwel ke kene abe abe yage and kalu target ko kache other side. Looking at identity and belonging at the same time, you identify yourself in Australia, okay? And now you look at yourself, you belong to Australia. But at the same time, you are also advised you are a South Sudanese. And now go to school, study hard from by your parents will give you those advice. Uncles will give you those advice. Okay? Study hard. Later on, you will be the great leaders of South Sudan. That one itself it put kids into a situation whereby they don't know where they belong, where is their identity here. Okay, and I challenge that and say, let kids study here, let them study as Australian, develop themselves in Australia, and become a good citizen of Australia. Later on, they can pick up the and say, I want to go back to South Sudan because I'm a South Sudanese. But for now, their brain is just Australia. So don't don't make them South Sudanese and Australian at the same time. So and I look at that and I've got a terminology here, cultural dissonance, where Many migrant youth navigate dual identities, balancing their heritage and cultural norms of their new environment. It's uh, very complex cake, and this causes tension, okay, and manifests rebellious behaviors when societal expectation conflict with familiar or cultural or community values. So, yes, Sudanese, we look at community values and our expectation of and what is given to them in school and wherever you can interact is cut me short if I go that far. Uh, uh, actually, I think it's affecting them. Ikakeben ke kake choyan chadai kulwel, okay, there is a need here. Go away, kidding. Because policy implications such are kicked in and misinterpretation, jila behaviors that define rather than a quest for identity can has restrained relationship. Kemko, mitko, police, kujila wider community. Fakini kachan ben jam no, we need to come up and talk about issues affecting youth. In a chan program, then all talk to parents. They have been established. And the same thing can we explain. Who been run for almost 3 years. Until now, I can't pull. But I try below on the platform because me at the same time. Kachike you been a chike law affected aka no me ko kisukula one. One group to behind, they are taking advantage of Midko. Now, I think issues in school, they are not working. Cutting. That means work that will take care of them. No koko kilo are taking care of Midko quick. That thing is where come. Kuyen kachi Midko and kachi affected. Peer talk it now. Pandatene, especially in Melbourne, the sakin means sakin, with a guru sakin, can a kono message. And it is because chito in between us kujala authority and thing. And no coach ben in between here, they are taking advantage of them. Okay, chalo ikawin beketaw into jarai kanting. Kulegro know it to the point. A lock dang loy, kulo gurume, bala gwel, ke yin that ke kai mi the bena end up kanake. Thank you.
No, yeah, no, thank you. This is very rich and informative conversation. And thank you, Joel Dominic, for confirming that. I really appreciate. So kita pingatana nang iran page then kekrijiam koche about how our children or our youth in diaspora, especially now in Australia, given as an example, how they ended up in in wrong side with the law enforcement. This police involvement, kujia nangin ke no sekin that a online which has been happening rampantly. And so kicha pinga tena which barakap ba floor ba yena la to ask the next question for the discussion is that you know like expectation, like family dynamics, our kids actually get into disadvantage and get to understand expectation the parent. There are realities out there are we add up and children end up finding themselves struggling. Yet been focus by South Sudan. Australia is not preparing people for South Sudan, preparing people for themselves. You also learned that the framing too, like because one can cope up which how system works because most of them work what or refugee camp you can try out to explore and then boom go to work classify okay bad people and when you have been framed you remain up being like bad the way or you are expected to perform worse of course kaka trauma kujaya the way the system quite channel in a job thing. So thank you so much for that. It's really opening our eyes to see where is this challenge coming from. So thank you for that. I'll give it all a kid to also take on to the next conversation or share insight or what she has learned. But this is really empowering. And if you are new to this show, please share this conversation to reach people that may benefit. It's really, really very enriching, full of wisdom and experience. Lucky, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Henry, for defining the problem. Like you've really well thought this out, and you've taken action from all your experiences way before you moved to Canada. What has it meant to you to be an advocate, whether it's from your life or from life of others? I don't remember the guy's name, but from Panyundu, taking care of many children must have been like a real inspiration. I'm feeling inspired by what you're doing so far. I want to bring it back to the family unit. Um, Before I bring it, just sharing a little about my experience. I also immigrated to Canada at the age of 20. Not really very young, but also not have been out of the house. Ankin konjal panda until then, Bajabala Rirato. It was very difficult. Language barrier, of course, was there. I found myself attending the same lecture twice because I completely don't understand what the teacher is talking about. That was Psychology 101. We're talking about big terms in psychology, but the accent is making it difficult. So, but at the same time, the idea of trying to fit in and an identity, uh, Okpal and I used to reflect on how other children talk about their interaction kind of families. They would talk about their summer in Hawaii with their family. And these are our friends. We're studying together. We're trying to socialize. We're trying to connect. And when they talk about their being in Hawaii, Okpal would usually say, "And do you know about Fort Jesus in Kenya?" Fort Jesus. He's trying to fit in. So all I'm saying is social.
Like, you get a valid, I won't be able to look at the link with the resume. You know, Mombasa.
Watch it in one way or the other. I don't remember mine specifics, but I'm pretty sure I said something to get along, and that is just survival. Not blaming anyone. You gotta do what you gotta do. It worked out. I'm in a much better place right now, thank God. But socioeconomics. Chiran, you call a vacation. We grew up refugee camp or somewhere where there was no money to go for a vacation. And I'm imagining right? What kind of conversation do they have in their household with their siblings, with their parents? And how does that affect their identity? Now, like be or like Bikala interact and socialize with the rest of the society, whether it's in Canada, USA, or Australia. Can you elaborate what socioeconomic status, what is the role, what does it play in youth finding belonging in diaspora, and break it down for yourself and for your children? How is that different or similar?
Well, thank you. Socio-economic factors drives human life wherever we are, and we'll take over and one example. One Tawo Kakuma. Uh, First thing here, I know Kore Bachung na war chan chakol binyocho. Okay, chan woko gol Kakuma 1992. Ready you can change achi red let but the most important thing you ba cover in your body e ba cheng war chan chakol chi binyocho. So access to opportunities is very important. And if you are marginalized in that aspect, then you are no person. So lack of opportunities can push some youth toward antisocial behaviors, and it can increase the likelihood of interacting with justice. When you understand, when you interact with justice means you are in trouble. And now a town walk one be wo by 10 oche ma jo wo kan ngi ke ka ago ka yu ka mai. Tell me now ngagi na wendu in Dalgo. But if you ask me and $100, it's easy. I can send it to you. Kind of thing. But in Chile, in Chile, Wendia. For Ben Aten, there are people who did very well in terms of working hard and earn money, buy houses. and kachi meet ken a chicken raise chicken pure, they have trained them yung important alloy. And when you earn, what is the next step? You budget your money. Baka save a budget to cover bills. As I can call myself economist because studies lawyer and qualified by economists. In this country, you consume what you've earned. In this country, on the other part of the world, Canada, because I see myself earning money. Yeah, that is fine. We can understand about economy the church. So you consume what you've earned. Means you are not saving. In other words, you are not saving money based on living standard to buy it, and peer to buy it is very expensive, and starting from your managing your own self to your children, it is tough. But the challenge to encourage low tongue meet ko and a little bit cognum chicken ye but the naked truth is now like schooling, as Alakir asked the question. Leke schooling some of meet ko just a line book meet ko ka loken line book that kitchen thousand kuleka law school kuleka romping get a meet ko cheneke line book and heavily loaded with variety of kacham cake are totally different. Okay. And one of our MPs, a head teacher area in Italian thing. By the way, Maron you can running politics here and got called by a city council by a councillor in one of the city council canteen. A chaben jalu interia kind of politicians from federal level to state level. Kwan chiben la mad one ting tong yen to now our federal MP. Yen I am mudir schooling. Before Ken been into politics, kumir ko akelo in the same school kene akelo the school day. So angin mir ko. One thing to point out, a little mir ko when they come to school, a little kaja alwele kene because anchi jal anchi beto schooling. But ata school warga chiga chia discriminating. But one thing tong mir ko, the line box you can bay. I line box different compared to kaya mir ke kawajat ke bay. Okay. And the line box are based on your cultural, based on your culture feeding. No, but still it can be a bread, and maybe koko akuchama apple. This is where she was trying to drive her point. Chama fruit so they don't even give kids fruits to go to school. But things like bread, is there, but fruit are not there. Canteen. And then milk chicken ben quarter thief. I chew because pure myth. I think you want to take it from the other. I could not cry. Kind of thing. That was the first time in milk issue. And thing. Daman nang ile ba mendu ale bay ale bin sandung the gwir piet at home chiki chanye loy because you could the other side. Tong pera na chiki lum ke nong ke mil ke nyo je mil piet. But Laura and a big culture, Australia big law understand. Ke line bog me lazim binang apple, binang banana, binang grapes and all this. Lazim big to in the line bog. But a quick go you watch a jam fruit. Ke yo ku kidang red. Watch ring rating more than other things. Kujela grains. Socio-economic factors milk affected the feeding in school. One. Number two, watching high skills, watching good skills. Kulo you ka ben you. Lawyer when you work under pay. So when you sit there and budget out, Kulwele, okay, this 700 kaya your week, for example. I've been with Charping, I've been Miss Gufit, Queen on Nome, Panduan Africa, Corvago, Tundu, Gunor, Guquar, Kunga, all this. Okay? And you want also those who are selfish. A che parent ben young who focus on kids. I know I use this terminology. Among parents, they want to see themselves beautiful or handsome. I can buy a expensive suit for 400. While man there, I can win chateau, bane lair package or baler restaurant is be to belaware miezbicham and things. So those things are there in our community. Fa can I achieve ko achieve disadvantage more. Me they talk da kwache ilwel miaitin. Kukache man kumid ko. I teach wo be ni adin achieve kwet as long as chichama chikwet kwa law school that's all. Yen ke boken wo. But by it not, it's not that way. Pa ken achieve ko achike chanong issues yen ka chike la lu interia kene. Yen ka chike antisocial behavior chiro la creating school ya example ko well. Kui not only that, nothing in ale been banned by allocate the same culture of food ka ben cham ke pan gorno. You finish in school, could take soup. Okay, majority of high school kids, me the when che be child can a parent can I check a pick up from school. Chimana when you me high school. Abi a child the bus. Abi a child train kolo school achieve better under my responsibility by a drop kula bay. Okay, come and I nang num lao. Nothing lacking in their house. Kikatitsu, okay, Kukachino with, and you want something from soup. Do you think like you to know? A bet you like you, and you end up with Quamandane, Jaka Comping a chicken child and newspaper a news buy it and quality chicken chino to soup, but they went and grab it. Why is that? Because they know chicken a chicken you buy is only found soup catching with, then they have to go and grab it. For social economic factors, tau into a situation whereby chika end up in police. Now, look long run, you are branded in chair in chikara along without kanicho in chair, mutual authority. So me ko kwato sitting now for something little about chocolate chimela low kind of thing. Do you blame work or your parents? We have that responsibility. Yes, but we are but the chicken ben and a responsibility to colom ke dia kujela lack of good income ran kwan kaloi. Okay, I bend down, you cannot blame parent of milgeber parent of milgedoro. I need 4 bedroom. What kujini dom 700 a week. Ye mienu adiga je loike buy it and that can sustain them. Big chair die can be it's a big challenge. Anything. So I know question to you can go bang would teach and I hope I've answered you to the best of my knowledge. Yen ka chimi ko chala en ap ke chi koi kok ke la lom chi mana ai kwalariat why na chi tingi gerian pie Mercedes or BMW buy it and I don't know on your on that side of the world. Kika non koi to chien koi woni agwel ato chien somewhere. They will come and take advantage of this loitering. Chol, what do you have? We can help you this as long as Bakadan and Laloy. May be in $2,000. Ben ke la kwal kubayan over to Tong Koi Kaka. Kind of thing. For $2,000 big a yen myth is a big money because even $10 are really you, Tong parent. Okay? So now I know around yen $2,000, $1,000 a charity. Take this. It's happy. The thing. Kuye kango akor bepir benagde, which is a chair you pande. Take me, I will give you my personal life experience in Kakuma because I'm a very honest person and my story near bepir and then buwar. Actually, group 46 kalo Ethiopia. Kala galim dienes rale chan bala galam. Na lar Lakuga successfully sold my galam dien Israeli by then I'm a teenager. Kuga galam galam dien Israeli kuga galam dia. Ku jala ben on my way ke wadi ni chiang go chuk twen che chuk nei be. And ding go ye anong ko ani chon Narus studio nong en ko ke talk akuma ngi Narus studio. Anong opposite dukana jilat. Ato te ne chol 33 yene ke name dukana. Anchi ben buku ja monya ba yo chola Abraham buku ja lele akwere buku ja lele please help me ba wadi ene bas lunde na jila ban wa bin wadi nwet kada ti go lele can you sit here chana ko bla line go dukande rit ko kule can you sit here good bala ben go na yes achi ben lo ku jela ben buku je wadi je nwet chu ku ja le thank you ku ja jar ayo lo ndol ke chola kule come back jele na be chuk la te mal ki bila ngula loy wala ka chinga bala lo me jala chawa chu ka lo bai golel can I train you ba ben alu ken yande na go nang tin ye you golel yes it's possible but unquit anto schooling bulen ay ta chi school ato ki ye ben na ye yo masebit yo malat ye ben everything acha bela train and from there an chi bala nang wendien yan war go an chi ben na wendien yan sabun go and to the point and been a very strong mechanic and you can be been just bawaro but and you been a better in Kakuma okay koko kiren ke chi pir ke no anwan koko ran che pio ku gumi ya tai a gudu bay ro jali wan ran de chi pio koi ku ye ko pe chi jebel chok because chinti achin otherwise koko ci ran ke gomta ran da ci pi ka kuma rai tai go jalle Sudan ko ka ci ben ka kuma kanati so e pire akwai wochi ko gutti modern society to within regardless in ci ben lu ya yin enough money still work cannot cater for your living ku kale bi yin jari chari yin gi ne parent wala ki yin me because na ci me ci lew salary ku ci me lew you just cut all expenses and say as long as queen ajita got to buy enough for a child that one affect affected kume alam nan choice me the high school go la lombi kule ya enough authorities chin kule law a signi and this is what stress us the most ko your parent ko ko ngoro ko mi kege na le din me le cha on their own ku chin ke ben lew ka war ye me ke dawo da ga la lombi men dun be a man indi. Thank you.
No, thanks. A lot. If I am learning so much. I and die. You might as well share it and make sure the message reaches many people. So yes, a socio-economic status a middle effect, and I like how you start from when they're really young until people are high school. I don't know how many parents have that long sight of seeing what they do right now affect their children down the road. Could be later. What are the impact of decision making? You can affect. You on the U-turn, pay American, and by America we say North America, Australian, Canadian bills first. Goya, this trap of trying to save everyone from poverty, only being you end up burying yourself in debt, or you end up not looking out for your children and making a better future for themselves. Yes, you quite point, but you quite point can kun chin rot con coin ago nang enough to help. So, young parents or people who are thinking of having children in the future, accord banang planning. Planning is the step one. Do you have enough income to support these children and their education? And not just education than one but you don't need to send a child to school with food or with pocket money. But pana is different. Or allowance. Do you give them an allowance a chance? So that's the question. I'm sending it back to whoever is a parent to really think that your relationship, your nuance day to day, I make will affect in a way. You might not see it, might not look in the future. I'll be in Mishkala. So thank you so much for sharing, Henry. I will give it back to a call to ask the next question, but I'll come back.
No, So yeah, thank you so much, Henry, and thank you, Lucky, for that. It's everything just come together. And the next question is really about take us how our background, how our socio-economic status, how everything about us end up contributing to prejudice and discrimination in the system. So really, can you elaborate based on your experience and the work you are doing? How as all these things like I mentioned, plus already the preconceived notion that these people are different from us, how do those combine to impact our youth negatively and put them in the hands of law enforcement, especially talk about the prejudice in the society in this western dominated society where the dominant thought is different from ours.
Mm. Thank you. And I can answer that question in one thing, uh, that is racial profiling and systemic biasness. That's a word I can simply use and break that one into two. One, it is experience itself, which is some migrant youth experience or perceive over policing, racial profiling. And this can reinforce feelings of marginalization and lead to restrained relationship with the law enforcement. One. Number two, a long-term effect is repeated negative encounters can create a cycle of mutual mistrust between police and migrant communities. So, naja geri jitong jeng already e kawen che mil kwa yoguben aka aka taw into one context. Okay, koko akochon akoire ni ai koirai that yen ke engedi chen ye lombe una chi loma ya etong en ga lom ke biasness tinga chi taw community no that ni ko kochon au kochon rot ai koirai ke jala nuan, and they don't answer this question and you ask them. Parent game is ke I very hard working, I lui I well educated. You come now and check our houses, and every household anong a degree holder, whether you be acting by, will a by or both. I graduate. And then you may be ben be kay you ten right. How? Okay. It is it is hypothesis that need a clear research kind of thing. Etong mit ko e yen ko won chalweli yen ka chike affected into that level. Now yung le book loy benefit ko BK benbe from that. First, honesty. Okay, number one. And I will take you back to the same story Chaping etong MP da kona modir school. MP da kona modir school wende ato school. Ku wenda ye bully. Same school eto enge modir man they ano mi chirot ganga yen bully in school. Go man the go second go guma on chitingi chinaker go second go la. Okay? Logo watch second duguluru bang day kwa chima na chitin ku kawaja da no nyin wangare de jai dai behaviors ke med la ben school cutting compare to jala won jelen. What happened? Ku loy ku do note it ama ti dai although chiti or bati ka ti indirect try to study up the man do ni on luyen affected. So achi when the thing is second tao back it go to beat ku dai ku lora chi ken tinga wan mi adur ki je tao ri je ko lor before can area door ke je ti what you got in your bag go when ti no go ja ya chin to go le ka non to in your bag, just be honest le again instead be and we find out go ja le man an muk se ken bag go le se ken le in go le ka kar ban rom an che bully for a couple of years a school ji ten non group jro gang up against me go le ngu chi ne le go le if you snitch non where chol snitch che taw mi ni miten don snitch so man dutin alle bi ke ba helu alle bi no wachi lehi ke tin ko rabaj alle ben me da de tu den chene na de tin kule don snitch do la aloy luen kabati kind of thing. So I chilwell I did not want to snitch but ben lehi ene ke yan bia go le khalas ni ler police bala explain okay man da dunde ci me be ger police ko lo ko le police le tie ci to men landing amuk sakin ku jagal le la ko le yen wa yen sakin mo ci men ja ben lo explain go police ja le ni ki more di ti in state be sakin be be yikin ku chwerwe ku lake sukuli ku mo ni yen be police achi bi police achan bi ben taw into trouble but I be in police be ben pure that violent achi a quiz le be affected at the long run. You can do what you want it, but achieve at the long run. So one on training young people how to protect yourself from bullying, how to protect yourself from cockle the big ben you go. Training cannot talk about man, they not into training at your ben pia. Okay, as a mother. Kiana go kulebe, a koi ko achi honest. Now no get man do you. It can really batia na you chicken a little thong lot of summa. A bay embarrassment of a bay to us. I'm not trying to encourage parents go and shout out Richie man the loyaki, Richie man the loyaki.
Where
But
you know, where you know, where you know.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Continue.
Yeah, I'm not trying to encourage parents, including myself, but Jalo Lui Chow Chare, Jalo Bag Richie man the look at honesty, Alwe. But I can man do Chinang behavior Chicago in the house. The correction at all. Pandane. I can say, and people will disagree or agree with me based on the observation. Police are very friendly here than America. Okay, ale bi mi ka ngunin, ale bi mi ka way ku police abija call arab me darab bilwainum kweri ale but party you ka inche in ya kim to gadu ki chingi chale police pa na America an jago kur ke na jage team kare team so ton koy ko racial profiling chral we woke ku jela bias na loyrote water chin thin at the same time. Okay, alwel wana na cha wendu la mai lo angara den ko wendu yene ke rugu nyot lo ko yene ke palwer dir ko yene ke lwak lai it is there angiku aguti gan ko on loy man lazim balu 3 times than ran yer to bai ne bi jalo yene ke good worker or yene ke smart. You have to work hard more than them can be jar recognized lakini athong no mon ke yene ke the dumbest person in the system kind of thing. The same thing is happening at tong meet ko fa tong meet ko the future could be KP in a peer that watching ko we parent. We got to be very honest. Can it chene meet ko te wo meet ko white thing. We have to be honest can a system. Man do level akachia alcohol get the miawa rating but a chana and makwe balwe man the chia the miawa le community. E kiri ya rating. E for dia. But a tonka wajara liu. Chaman the batting is the miawa rate. Kikalere the tongue authorities. Okay, kulwel kwanke mendi akor ko ya chia addict to this e cham one e cham drug kilo kulwel mendi ayile akor ko nyane ali uton ko tai e to kichir fadia abateno mro ko chungwen ko go boga chidi op enemies ken they don't know all this, and this is where people like us ko community need to come in ke ko ngwan kulwel ku mendu kun non ki chatingan wane ne help is here kind of thing, which is another topic why we don't deliver heritage by it, and a lot of us I graduates school our professions but you know what community pal way in one way or another going when I won't call help from us I can go and that help book me can guide it but ran chire could learn man the way man and belong into wrong path. Okay, you will you will question my you will question you will talk about IGP, Ajikwan Getik, I degree holders getting alu in the profession here, Gutige, alu profession here, ku learn with way here, can't you will just see negligence or ignorance, can I man you pick up from there. For honesty, very important, tongue walk away parent, a chaman to chaiting, Kichilo into that state, be honest with the authorities, man the carbucoin, the baby from this situation. Thank you. I know
No,
you are free, Bangor.
No, thank you. A very point, and I was just taking deep breaths to digest it because it's really very empowering, telling us exactly where the problem is, and kaja dan jeng wa kan kum ko wa ru kuma re and kum rod wa ne e pya ti om da no man ne chinelwel when ra un le chem ju yi un du ne ka yen yin respected another word. So in un le kan bu ber ber da lo bon ka mit ku chi da bi 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 chopping is really a big challenge. And our people man ne chinelwel wa kan conversation one actually then put power last week, and it was not about why we don't trust systems. So one reason, maybe honestly, even alarm and the policeman le mai to le reactivela be. But I think that a little bit like shopping you can achieve deal with. So very important, and it take us to the next question before one lucky to ask now.
Malik, let me take you back to one perfect example. Kichiro loy.
Good.
Tika chimen the thing kichiro into drugs by ten.
Mm-hmm.
Awan go mida kaiken ke man go le mama please. Rana kor kun kor rehabilitation kor bele boli this is what he is doing. Go no man the Mitya man can do an alone mikla. Yeah, where I want to exactly at your jala where and thank you for reminding me. Mitya man can do an alone mikla. Jay tai ting. Kukichi means thing because I can pay Australian way, Australian system. Every man can da coin expose him.
Yeah.
To authorities be like corrected. Go jai. A man, I can drag the cham go te marune. By it, Australia kind of thing. A man, I wouldn't come in and no tie. Okay? Why? Because in your bonga part. Okay? Pan peche pan anwa. Who especially mothers. Man do a chair, no, man, the chair. Man do a champion, no, man, the champion, man,
Exactly.
the only person who can expose me, but not mom. Okay, so this message goes to moms. Okay, tam kare, acham me that thing. Wherever you are leading, actually good, and your help is here. Thank you.
No, yeah, really say really well. Mothers, we need to know. Like, I think that maternal instinct is destroying us here and is putting our children in jail and killing us because yeah, cái cái đó to beni bu kin temper cái depression, but not because seeing men do go in the wrong direction. So thank you for that. And I want to ask the next question really to elevate now the conversation to the community level. So even one member of a contributor member of the community, you to talk to parent, forum at create. Even a parent conversation that is starting to happening now in Canada, where there's Dr. Cook is opening that, which is very important, and it needs to be replicated across Western countries. So you have been contributing to community to really changing this way of life and changing the future of youth. So can you talk about what more resources do our community have, and how can they use those resources or program to actually better the future of young people here in West, especially in relation to this weird behavior that is our law enforcement chain. So talk about community level initiatives and program. I know one of community association, and they are becoming even a challenge, so you can even take it there wherever you want to take it. But how can community come in to help? Now families are being challenged.
Mm. Thank you. There are so many resources. One is human resource. Number two is intellectual property resource. As human, like anong nim koiken, anong ni worken kumarken. Number two, anong i majority of us, 90%, as I said before, when we were Australia, education by it, is much easier to get into than in America. In America, you have to work hard to study. Here, you can study cuman on bay anana bukular ke ne chala Australia program and you don't 500 for night ban when you are live actually offensive ko I'm using heck which is loans ban ka kwen so and she could school fees from my own pocket ban school fees to make it easy balo schooling daman so I took out week of ban chokwen here in Australia. So that education itself are resources that can be channeled to help Midqua. Okay, and in what way? One, a community engagement. Okay, number one. Number two, a youth empowerment program within community engagement. Okay, and I pick up one thing, one example, because they are very bright. They can come out with great initiatives, but sustaining them is a very big challenge. Kaka kwa yoka aju jarete. Jealousy kicked in. Yonge na makwe gwa Bentham kuyene gwa ahead of us. Okay. Yonge na ngek. Ekene program pia bright program chukuta eye gwa no. Once you we been discovered that me kwa actually into police hands and me actually record in the police. Ko me kwa aku police I real police. Watch ben you paying let's bring community together kind of police, especially who can discuss. Kichu ben pick out milkwa police milkwa they fear something they don't know. That you are in uniform, way here, then automatically way racist. The man that young nang you work could approach in around here. In police, you are just racist. Kumeno makidena want to watch. Kanting. Ekena achieve police na let us create a friendly relationship kind of way. Police achieve ben apol basketball kind of meet ko. Okay. Achuka ben bay police pol basketball appeared kumit ko pol basketball appeared was established by people. I was not part of that program, but any initiator behind the scene to make sure mimbi ko big interaction kind of police engagement chira ben loy wo nyu ku within us then wo kai jor ku na lweran exactly young mi kra na jorot ku we gwel mi ek when chen honesty we gwel mi boli aye boli lwel wo we are trying here to help kuna cha ko bo help ko bila lo nyu lunga le long chine we bu ko. Okay, so that resources that you can apply, it was successful until then. I can ben sustain. Cannot ben sustain a chan bumungno kind of thing. Kuyong ben lawyer, we want to do 3-4 things at a time. It can actually be not successful kind of thing. What you can go abata kutaku kana lako kalon way watching. Youth empowerment programs initiative that can engage migrant youth in productive activities, leadership roles, can prevent negative behaviors. Okay? There are a few young people who honestly come to me, you are motivating me. You are well done. You can pick up from you. Okay? No ram tin you cancel. In city council. Anting I want to get and Lankor because city council. Mabruk. Where did you get this? Go look on Concoy, Kujela Uncle Goy Malwa Lake in Adelaide. So you guys inspired and motivated us. Well, thank you. Kind of thing. So okay, Mitko, Akor became directed into initiative that became choice productive. Okay, became choice productive. Now, majority of us only are because we come from Sudan. Kuarter Sudan. I chap go nang 1,000 the account or no okay the calvary chap go kwa you go la tata red. Kanti. Koko walk ke parent ben by it. They take benda by it. Queen on when the into to account. You're free and on food. Kunji sitting room piedo achati ku TV do screening at alwele yene akere piri ka inchi go ya okay, you relax. But upon you run until by 67 years me about retirement and get bin jalong. Queen now queen low kila long me a kitchen kichaler can eat be chalo retirement in comfortable. So majority koi ko they very reluctant when the yogman baba and ba lair sport. But time you know. Yet you know time bila polo dumina. Okay? Yet you know time been ano municipal law bila run for 10 hours. Just a birthday, just a community event will take 10 hours. Okay? Could that 10 hours actually productive to your own house? Think kungi in the balare even if I know code are 2 hours municipal. Can't you finish? I will not and your I think but people manage to stay there and you could be interact community comfortable, the TV town, watch Netflix for 3 hours. That 3 hours is supposed to be our resources, but channel to your own children. Bake glare sport activities, bake glare bigla B. Take them out. Chiki chamwar thi queen talbai, okay? Work hard. Try to work, make sure you work hard. Lon to enough. And Louis Loike Roman anything. And Louis Bang, Kwana Louis youth work. Residential youth care. I mean, Kwana when Chineke Chia Kumakaya baby a parent can change because quick move for the reason Nike. Are you galating? I don't know. I know 1 sheep or 2 sheep I agalo. Because my idea enough, may I low bang enough, Banagati or cake low. So I have to do extra work. Kunyang road cook, prestige pier cook, Bagala loy be, hang out with my good friends, Katoka war Kakuma, Bugula name good time, can a cake. Anjira Nyong yen for that. Actually, I took there are parents who are doing that here. So I don't want to take that credit cake here. No, go working hard. But people who are not seeing that, this message a lot on in. Real now, if you see income kuni cake loy, actually enough. Big man do, big milk, big bar, dog road loy. Because that's the reason he in the milk. But I go alone number 2. I'm not encouraging you back koi konyo. But koi ko actually coin buy in Africa at the same time. Man, jur, kaya one move about $500. Kulega suit, kuwar piet. Ami akul in 2 months kaji ira. War achiriya, tiene ke chengtin. Yan one bay and warga I go on a kiria buchiman because I sit in the car drive. Now 2 minutes could have been. So I don't buy a lot of shoes. But how many shoes can be run going when you are in Juba walking in that sun, always going to know they are tracking kind of thing. So etong walk ten and not go mugu ke support book move in Africa. Okay? And be ran la chin one me to yes and went to chin one man but I don't koi thi kien mo ke yag lair school ko ke ka koi kor bu ko bran lair school lakira ambla doing a suit kubla dir lor kubla kornyir ku karil kachira ache wote bu mu when do 2 years mu in man duten okay kwanya ye mor chi dio ba chi loy be lew lakini aye mor la ruk kan no baba tol ko kom le mama ngol lo mu when yuki ko ma chi loy cha an chi loy ba yimu ku mi cha lo because achan kian wer le be resources ko bigla do to us ko bi wo ko mi ko raise ten so we have a lot of resources that can raise big mi ko big bay to the standard in court but we are not seeing them. Thank you.
Wow, that is really very rich conversation. And we only have for 1 hour now. Why about hour? I don't know if you still have a few minutes, one or more questions. Otherwise, we can reschedule another show.
It depends with you, but I'm okay for another half an hour. But we committed the other things.
No, thank you. No, this conversation is very, 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 very crucial. And that this conversation is resonate a lot with the situation talk I think in Victoria, Melbourne, and also even in Canada and US, and even in East Africa, and you actually mentioned how a community is failing us and how it's supposed to really, engage productively to making the children the future that we envision. But we cannot, invest in them so that we can. So this is really a crucial conversation. I'll give it to Alaki to ask the next two questions, and then we'll see how we can wrap it up within the next 30 minutes. Thank you so much for your time. And if you are joining this show late, we are talking about the future of youth in diaspora. And our brother Henry is actually giving us insight from his own work and experience. And it's encouraging you to take action today. Make a U-turn. That is the message for today. Making the U-turn for the future of youth here in diaspora. Alaki, take it away.
Absolutely. I'll keep it short. So when I was in school, I am a person who loved learning and learning through experience. Like being in school and interacting with different people, always you learn a thing or two. And I just also in real meeting, you are limited from interacting with the wider society. I feel like the young ones meet school they have opportunity to interact with a lot of people, have so much that parents can learn from. So in a household, imagine you're talking to someone in children in their household. You mentioned about a Kawaja woman who was very observant to see the behavior change a man there when he went to school and when he came back. How can parents, in a practical term, ensure the voices of their children are heard, like actually meaningfully engaged in their homes, that whatever changes is happening, they are informed. Yani value, they're not feeling like they're being looked down upon or they're not valued in the household. How can those children voices be heard? How can a day-to-day look like for someone who want to observe their children and make sure that they don't miss any signs that we can lock where yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. I pick up two things during my advocacy. And one thing I realized when I had interact with young people is that they are blaming us too. They are saying our parents or our elderly guidance don't understand what is affecting us. They are saying that, okay? And they are saying also, you guys are running the programs about us, and yet you don't understand what are the issues affecting us. Okay? Kene achan ben achin mar kene my colleagues ran chit jong Paul Mayom and the rest ku our own community policing. It's not like policing, but they're patrolling. What you ben gwin ku yokula chat. The enemies we assemble, we go and observe what they're doing. What you ben chat, wo law, akanim lo kur McDonald's, I law package big la pool. Kind of thing. Pa wo jika juja chuka ben la pick up from them. Okay? Ke anon ko ilu engage ke choy happy outside than ask who their parents. Okay? Ku happiness then engage la tao into trouble, engage la tao in the crime. Ayo go going one. Abu to ya lo ikene. Wimbo be yen kene. E ke chuku ben you. And I ben mi ko ke ben honest. Unfortunately, achi to mana achi ko achi lo sigini. Ko achi no in the process. I don't want to say their name. Achi ben jam walk accord book ya is speaking on our own. Be a walk ke walk be a wo ye. Okay? Regardless, I know challenges here then. Na chan went to kacha ti gole na ya wo kanwan wo lwel man ke adeka piet deka we wo nyeping go win there door ma den, but you will be considered kine snitching. You are telling secret to kind of thing. But acha ben pick up, we need to encourage young people to speak on their own behalf. Instead, be a walk ye waware. Keda We need to guide them and mentor them. If we do that, buku mi encourage. Biki ya kedang. Biki ya jam kanwan ke road ke pay. Ka chu ko yen a leadership abilities. They will take control of their destiny. They will take control of their journeys. Kanwan wo bakin to be wo sor bakin. Midko will say yes. I don't care. Lo snitching will akar by leading this initiative. Okay. Achuku palke ko wo parent ken. Achuku palke ko wo community leaders. Wo ben ku ye wo lelo an ko by community chairman e cool na chi yeni e ka la yak du ni ching suit and talking in a platform I went chi mi chi ko koy ala ku dun na non pursa dun chi chala ni wone mainstream ku yini chin professional career won e ka dun bi resume dula nawi and then by your networking la no na your profession job you then you forgot community kind of thing. So working with and pursa number one. Number two, we need to encourage these young people to run their own program with the support from us. Okay? Now, I speak up. Okay. What do you want to do? I bright eyes smarter than us. What you would you other parent die paying tell me go our working in even you could realize I would all good sometime. They cannot correct us. I would yell corrected but totally pire pan understand more than us. But woka ruben charge again in woka bugamu. Yet we don't know what are the issues affecting them. So amiar big young people there are community leadership and communities very strong youth leadership let's say Boer community and very strong youth leadership. Okay, you get a Tweet community, Nyarwen community and very strong youth leadership. But if you pick up a leader and ask them, do you know Ms. Mukeke Yekidi? Ye may know Chimai, ye may know Kenamai, ye may know Nongluyan affected. Chila you. Okay? A chila you kumu. Yet he is talking here, a very strong leader, and I think any can. But Koi Mukeka Kuike, talk to know. So we need to encourage young people, get affected, Biake Bonial, okay? Biake leading the program, and then we guide them. Ye Canada, ye America, ye Etene. Let's encourage midko a chan midko tingi mia resilience kuriele pio ku ba pio ba community ba pay back kichi ko lui abato wo kumi ko aben ke generation could what to do. It is now time be working encouraged to come into a leadership role. Kubi kan one cake be a cake solve rather than us solving them because some of issues looking affected our cake. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I will not add much. The last question we usually say is, I'm sure we'll come for part two. Buku large. Topic. We've covered so much, but we need to go deeper. So, could you teach what is your U-turn advice? You think your couple advocates who are trying to improve the situation of youth in our community. If any youth has happened to be watching today, in the last word, and then a parent, you've said a lot. What are you prioritizing for these profiles of people? What can they take away if they have to take one thing from this whole conversation today?
My advice to U10 initiative is to keep this novel initiative or program live and active. That's the first thing. Don't get discouraged with people who will come behind you and say, "What are you doing?" One guy and talk to parents, and you ben ayo, eke ye wendu rundia, kon jabo teenage mia, can a booting to be a loitin. Can I ben jam? Koi ko achiben agaben ayo, ye ko bena divide ki chino met, okay? Mi ke jur bena divide ki chino met. Ran chino met ku kanier. Be man one met be aran wade. Yene kala push back that way. I'm sure you will face those. And not only actually you that took we will focus on women empowerment, a topic of my interest as well. I started from my own house. I must make sure thing must be stronger than me. Okay, and that's the pride I want. So women empowerment, something very, 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 very important. But don't be discouraged on the way. Keep this light shining in the case where the way and reach out worldwide. Actually, West to get no issue. Kuru actually told Juba, actually told Madin. They are there in Kakuma. They are everywhere. So a future, a young people don't walk at all on the road. Okay, and I know around ping it outside Western countries initiative chirka you ten kake please ke luai ke adang in South Sudan. Okay, you cannot be good at talking Malay bala benefit thing. Aku ma DT ka chingulo lakin gulo yindadu. It's not there. Alela aku ma chilui ban kira chibai riok. What about the lazy young man? Ariak by too. Okay. A lazy young man, chingulo, iriak by. You are not contributing to the country. Okay. A parent chimid gadiet when ke kasatan or woko gurura red. This is happening in South Sudan. A honest discussion. Take about when me lord. Imbala Korinya der dear Jim Yana war Chabaya Chugua dear Chuala Chana Chimet Wabenchol. Okay, Imbrala mood to be bangoti and looking good. You are not even contributing to the family. Kuna allow me the only talk rule. I mean, parents are taking full responsibility. I'm sorry, a tongue a parent I went chi in jal when I went to one can me gulumi no one. But an uncle told me can get crew who can't get it anymore. What is your role there? Learn from youth. That's available authority. Could you allow you 10 with you? Keep on, please. Don't give up. Wait, initiative don't own it. Make a quiet thing. People you trust, especially go to churches. And get any using well moin kawajagan. Kang old Africa, na court being using Pana America, Lord Canisa. Le do law chari, could do law tongue CSE, Lord Canisa. So think church organizations. Look at attach it on cake, chaki way. How you can help this program grow. Kubaka kokok baka coin. Young people. And one thing, you know, to Korean Ginamit, when you are at the age of 13, 14, 15, you are in a very fire age where you think you are everything. You think you own the world. Okay? You think you are the only person that can determine your destiny. That is wrong. It's a very wrong concept. You cannot grow without directions from your parents, from your teachers in school, and from church leaders as well. Okay? So you need to be a learner as a young person. Don't be a teacher. Then you will get it wrong. You will end up somewhere where you cannot help yourself. Just be a learner. Okay? To young people, don't be a follower, be a leader. Lead your own destiny. Don't follow others. Don't be led. Don't let other people lead you. Lead your own self. Okay? I'm not trying to encourage you to come in the community and say, I want to be a community leader. That's not the leadership I'm trying to say. But you lead your own destiny. That message goes to young people. And we are here to help. We are here to mentor. I've got my own initiative. I've got initiative that I'm running now. Chan Koi Louis Bang in Australia. A Chakakor Association, then South Sudanese Banking and Finance Association. There are young people there in high school who wanted to do business, accounting, finance. Okay? I encourage you to come to us. What is the future it will look like in now? AI is taking over. Artificial intelligence is taking over the banks. Automated services are happening in the bank. Away, but they are the same thing at the same time. AI is creating opportunities. Okay, computer engineering is the next step you can do in a young person, but your career but direct to IT, so that you become the one being employed to communicate with artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence cannot operate without human. For young people to turn outside, when you listen to me, whether you are in America, check those who are working in the banks. That's my area. That's why I talk about it. Those who are in Canada, check in your area, those who are working in the bank. Ask them, in the next 10 years, is bank going to operate the way it is now? Of course not. So how can you prepare yourself to be a banker later on in the future? There are good resources from us that you can get. A tongue parent can have a tongue jing from a story. Era anaga chimende diet ko mende chila bi chila influence outside ke kang la riok, so balake ben here and there ke ka buku chol ke chimende la riok. I am ya ke bela ben buku chol ke chimende la riok. Am ya ke bela ben buku chol ke chimende riok. I want to cool to ke me lok je ke dit je riok aret, equivalent to $30,000. Go ben ko watch pande. A story from Uganda. Go ramben go watch pande. Bi go watch riande. Ko watch dom de neto. A chan be $30,000 be team to ko be kany man de bla chol. So a chu ja tao back ko je ler sijen to. La ko je yen police. Ko jolon jo man de jolon je yen. On the way ka labai. A chi ja lo ko je ka to kwere chi man de ja yo man dia. Na lor de berio ka chin ke ban be chut. All my saving mini yan met a good mane yankini ki atawa machakalat ko kon. I got nothing else. Na bene de la wo kamra chuo gore je wer nyo de je lambro ro. Chin der pe. Kanatin. Chin der pe de be ndeng la wo chin ke ban be chut, and I love you. Yene ka yan ka chigam. Na yana pere nga le changal loy kake kumorot. Ajan no parent ko le biranga nom to ko me le an che kere. But this parent ne armende. Kantin. Achieve then jalwele bara ru bara chwa wore go don go me go don dol wun go pioria ko men denum gole ngina mang baba gole ki yani mang e situation kina tawden ya try by in le frustration to ga ko ngor ki dala go ene ka yani mang achi men de jamle chato ki jam go le gole ke yen kibra loy an chi be kwal chingo bela wo ke bi be yer ba chakel chicken guaranteed from today. A one. Number two, who kuna won chagala yen bolis chinga anai ke la chole a chagala pal tong bolis ke kina mo ke kina mo ke. Okay, go un ja oi. And this question about the wo de ko a parent to je man to je ben into that situation. Okay, the man be chere man actually chi be kwa lakini achi wo woni kele inga kanchon achi gala kwala ka achi gala do ni to ngo wo ki. What will you do in a parent? Okay, the moral story about this the moral lesson about this story, I wo ko a parent achi mera bamet code. Okay, you will ask yourself kara e wo ke the man the yog do ka police kabi ki jago la ba ke ne ke kuna lo boli lo discovered ba de ke man won chu lo ni ka ju kwal ke jeri matani na du ke yene ka thing yene ke better because of la well yen man yen a chia man chin pio wu ko na won cha ga chan ga ben chut a chi ngor ga kwel ga ngo wu ko na kin ko poli da pio la kach ab jala pol. But the most important thing yen wo ye keni ke ana makwe my own judgment, how intelligent is that boy? Okay, how intelligent is this boy in this situation kira tautin ke akoba le parent a chin man kun be like that parent chime chikudurio do la ke man chin pio e man raj e man jakwe anchi be create no, continue help that person. Okay, help that man do no konya buji tang bela pia ke chi parent bela lo chi ben du tong police lo jog du police no ko je le man yene a professional thief. How come we kwal police again jele wu ko na kin jaga do ma piet kuriade kani gur before kana jal woni yen go police go le man that intelligence to kana yen abu ku jal pio abna go kunyi pan. Okay, man achi ben pio and he become the best security officer pan Uganda. Okay, ika wan chigario ko tongu na chi go bela du awuna chi ben a proud father kada ting yung moral lesson about that ton ko ko to min ko intelligence met a very important ba wo ba met ba divert anong intelligence le me la rio me la well nom try ki in ba ya observe ko ba divert to wen ben pia ko honesty ayira ne woni di jelo ta da chi police ga bingi na yin jiwo kwala bro jallo rio ke pe jel ku ken ko mendi. But you never know about lo nyu pingu no. Let's go and find out the man nga jiwo kwal. Although big ben jai because before the man we must get rid of him. Level harm in different ways. So honesty ni ka buwo ka ko ni ke ban where you told a tongue parent including myself kind of way. Kilba man you kum di anything ke bela rio. I have to let him face the law. I can be corrected. Facing the law, you correct it. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Kuala Kur, you have something to say?
No, that is
We can
the
end
good
it
way
here.
to close. Yes, thank you so much. And we're going to Japia then. Wisdom ka bagajala pin, bagalo share. We will always bring you wise people like Henry Makuen. Today, this is our first conversation, and we will bring him back. So don't miss him. We are people because this conversation today, a conversation that has never happened and will continue to feed us. So thank you so much, Henry. Everyone, make a U-turn, and I will end the show there.
Thank you so much for having me.